Alright, welcome back everyone. I missed yesterday, so we're going to go over yesterday's trades and we'll go over today's trades. So, things happen in the market and sometimes you might get flushed, you might get effed. That's what happened to me Monday. I traded XELB. So what happened with the stock? And I'm going to tell you how much I lost later. So, XELB. So we're going to go into our stock quote. Normally I'll be checking this stock quote to see what the news is on a different page, or I'll check on the news page as it's coming down. So yesterday was June 23rd. So it looks like they had a strategic partnership with Global Fashion. I didn't really look too much into it. I saw this kind of spiked up, so I had this pullback. So here's where I messed up. I didn't really confirm the volume. I was right. I got in here. I couldn't get out here. It was too quick for me to sell. I was up 100, and next thing you know, I'm already down $400. So yeah, that wasn't a really good trade, and I was done for the day. I was like, wow, I went full size. My first trade of the day actually was $20, and let's see what it was. So let's see. It was an LPTX. I did this stock. I traded the stock. It was a 33 million float. I made $21 as an icebreaker, so I did break my one rule, under 20 million float. It was 33 million float. I saw that it was going up. It had a really good pattern. So that one, honestly, I'm not going to go over it. I think it was more of a lucky trade. I didn't really look at the float. I looked at the chart. I looked at the news. I forgot what the news catalyst was, but the float was not the criteria. So I'm not going to go over those types of trades just because I don't want you guys to feel confident or comfortable doing those types of trades. You shouldn't take any trades that are outside of the rules. I don't know why I took it. I don't think I saw it. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I must have mistaken it for a lower float size, and then when I realized, I was like, oh, this is not good. Just because there could be more resistance, there needs to be more volume than the float size. So the higher the float, and if there's not as much volume, then it's not going to really move. It was moving though, but I had an icebreaker on that. Okay, so that was before this trade. I'm going to show you why I fucked up. I fucked up here. I kept adding, so we're going to look at this trade. I added 100 shares, another 100, 262, 262, 259, 259, 260. And I noticed I was getting not complete fills. And this is where I got fucked. It went up here, 294 high, couldn't sell. I was up over $100, tried to sell, boom, flat. And then what I didn't do was get out on time. You can see 504, 511. It took me 7 minutes to exit out. As soon as it flushed, I should have been out immediately. Don't even hold. Do not even hold. As soon as you get flushed like that, hold. Go. Just go. Get out. Because this is what happens. So, 704. I would have saved myself much more losses right here at 235. By a lot. But I was a dummy and I kept holding. And I didn't get out till 180. What am I doing? That was sloppy. On my part, that was sloppy. And it's hard because when you're on here, you're like, well, what if it just goes up? More often times than not, when you think like that, it will never go up. And if it does go up, just be glad you didn't lose as much. Sometimes it can be frustrating. That's the name of the game. Sometimes you'll get out for your loss. You did your part, and then it'll just go right back up. I was confident because this stock was a low float, 1.4 million, and I feel like maybe it would climb up, after another surge. But no, it didn't. It tried to, and then I just was not budging, and I was like, damn, I had to just get out. I was already losing more, and I'm like, okay, it's going to keep dropping further and further, and it had no volume for the rest of the day. So confirm the volume. You always want to confirm the volume on a candle, and I think the next trade for today, which was green, I'll kind of show you why I hesitated. Why I waited a little bit more to get in, and it's because I confirmed the volume. So INM showed up on the scanner this morning, and it was thankfully pretty early in the morning, but I still stayed up pretty early. It was 4 a.m. I was still up. So we'll see here. Float is 650,000, which is really good. So we'll go here. My first entry was at 430 price. And I actually took a smaller size. So we'll go here. I took an initial trade of INM of $20. This is a base hit. I needed the base hit. Why? To get an icebreaker. I needed to get a feel if this was going to be the stock that we could trade. So we're going to go here. You see this big green candle? Yeah. So this is where I hesitated initially. I got in for a good trade right here. 119 for $19, I mean. So we're going to see where I took the first trade. The first trade I took was 401. So very top of the hour, very common. 401, I got in here and I sold up here. And this micro pullback. This right here, you see this micro pullback? That's where you should add. This confirms the volume. You don't have to get in at the very first move. You never have to be first. You just have to be early enough to make profit. Never rush to be the first one. If you rush to be the first one anticipating these breakouts, you're going to lose. You have to confirm the volume. And that's what I did. After I got this first initial pullback, first initial gain on this. What was this right here? So 341 and got out 360. This was all within, less than a minute. So right here, got in, got out here. And I waited. For this. What was the catalyst? Let's look at that too, the catalyst. This talks about the Alzheimer's disease. So there was some study in their drug, INM-901. That's usually what a pharmaceutical will classify their own drug, usually by their stock ticker or anything related to their company. So it found really significant results in Alzheimer's. Sometimes that can be really good. Those, like I said, those common diseases, Alzheimer's, diabetes, obesity, anything common, it's going to help. Those are typically good catalysts. Cancers, you just have to be ready. When you see those headlines, just be on the lookout, especially if it's a stock like this, priced between $2 and $10. You see the float over 600K or under 1 million, specifically under 1 million, that's a golden ticket. Just be on the lookout because these go fast. And I luckily was able to catch it on time to make good enough profit for today. So I took an initial trade. Then I waited, 402.52. That's the time I took it. So it took me some time. I was like, okay, I got in kind of late. I was like, okay, is this going to go? I was hesitating. Why? Because I was like, okay, is this going to flush? I waited already enough. Pretty much 30 cents from here to here. And I didn't get in until a little bit later. So around here, this is where I began to add. So why did I add there, you might ask? Well, I waited for a pullback. I could have gotten up here, but it's 470. That's really, really high. You see, I got in 430. I had to wait for a reversal and for a pullback. I had to wait for that. Why? Because if I just shot in, on my own without just realizing that this could pull back significantly or pull back enough where it's just a nothing burger, meaning nothing came out of it and it was just a spike volume, I'm going to lose. I had to confirm. So I got in around here. This is where I added, and I think this was the right move. I added where I wanted to on this dip, 430, and 425. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to. I didn't get exactly at $3. It did flush down to $3. You can see this doji candle right here in the middle. So I was a little scared, but I was like, no. I saw the incoming volume on the level 2 data. And the chart right here on the 1 minute was pretty open right here. This MACD was still open. This was like higher selling volume, but this did scare me a little bit. But it did begin to increase a little bit. So I'll show you where I got out. So I got out 3 minutes later. Why? Because I felt like this needed a bit more consolidation before it could spike up. And I feel like this initial spike, a lot of people took profit here. I'll show you on the daily chart too why I feel there was some resistance levels. So right here there was resistance 477. I didn't get out to 460s. So I held for a 30-cent a win. So 300 shares, 30 cents each is about $90. It was a little bit more than 30 cents. So it was like $98 for the day overall. So it was actually 70 cents. Sorry, I'll take that back. It was less than 30 cents. Because if we go into my calendar, we're going to see the total for the day. And this does put me on red day number 3. I want to not have another red day. Cannot. $98 total. And on this $98, we got $79 out of the same stock. Not bad. This is how much I lost, 409. And this is what puts me on the week. Hey, I'm still up on the month by a lot. Far more by at least, a couple, for about 400 versus May and April. So glass half full. Honestly, I'm going to be cautious. Today and yesterday were a little bit hard. We're going to just slowly go back up. If we break even on the week, that's fine. And if it takes us until June 30th, get us back to where we're at 800 on the month, I'll be fine. I'll take it. I'm not even going to get greedy. Cannot get greedy. But back to the trade. I got off topic. I tend to do that a lot. Back to the trade. So I didn't get out till 405. So I waited till this consolidated. I got out here on this breakout. I was waiting for this break of a new high, and I feel like maybe it could skyrocket from there. Typically 450, the 50 cents and the dollar on stocks are typically the psychological resistance, meaning that there's going to be resistance at those half dollars and full dollars. That's just psychological resistance before it moves up to the next level. And it broke through 449 a little bit right over here. And I sold right here, so I was like, okay, let me just sell, take my profit. I'm not gonna overstay my welcome. I gave it some time and did its thing, and then pulled back a little bit and it went back up. So it was a little bit choppy. This indicator right here, if I held, I would have been scared. This could be a top signal. Right here at 7:06 a.m. This could be a top signal. Typically is. I mean, this is, yeah. To me, I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna sell right here, but it broke through. There was enough volume to kind of break through this high right here, through this candle, 472, and it barely broke through 475 high right here, and 489 was pretty much the end of that move, and it just kind of unwinded from there. So just winners are typically going to be faster than your losers. Always remember that. So why did I think there was going to be some resistance at certain levels? Well, one, I was looking at this before it popped up. Right before it popped up, I immediately flashed to the daily chart. So this is quick. You're doing this at the same time. I'm like, okay, this is going up 200 EMA. I'm quickly glancing at it, 377. Okay, typically there's going to be resistance at the 377, but it broke through that right here. Like 377 is like right over here. It broke that pretty easily. And as you can see, it began to unwind. And let's see where it ended on the day. I bet you it ended closer to that 200 moving average. What do you know? It dipped back down to the 200 moving average. Not always, but it basically did. It's right there. This is at the end of the day. At the close, it was at 396. So it was pretty close to that 200 moving average. And yeah, you could just check on the daily chart and go here. You'll hover, and it'll tell you O means opened at 421. High means 550, so it did have a high of 550 earlier. And the low was 336. I'm looking at the right screen if you zoom in. And in the close, we just see 387. So, yeah, pretty close to the 200 moving average. That's a really good indicator to kind of give you an idea, like, okay, how high can this baby run? At the open, hey, it did spike up. This did show some really good moves, but I don't trade at the open. I find it harder, to be a bit more difficult, and you have to deal with halts. Typically, if the stock moves more than 15%, I believe. I'm not too familiar. I should know that, but I don't trade the open. I don't care. The open, to me, it's a little bit too hard, and Ross doesn't trade the open. We all trade pre-market. Pre-market, I think this is the way to go. If you trade at the open and you somehow profit, kudos to you. That's really good. But hey, glass is half full. I was a bit depressed yesterday. I just kind of went back to bed. I didn't go back to bed. I just, closed my eyes and I was like, damn, I lost 400. This is the most I've lost. So it's okay. We're slowly climbing back up, and I did have enough cushion on the month. I'm not mad because I gave myself this cushion. I wasn't expecting to take this loss. My loss would have likely been half, if anything. If I didn't get out sooner, that's why you gotta just get out. And it's a hard concept to grasp when you're not really accustomed or conditioned to just kind of get out when you need to. You need to be forced to just get out. On 20 cents, the moment you're under 20 cents, that should just be the very strict. But I know sometimes you want to be right in your mind where you're saying, okay, it's gonna go up. No, it's not 20 cents, fine, but maybe a little bit more. I'll give it a bit more room. 5 more cents. Then it goes another 5 down. And you're like, okay, give me 5 more cents, another 5 down, and it just keeps going down. No, just get out 20 cents, 10-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 ratio, 20 cents to 10 cent loss ratio, 20 cent gain, 10 cent loss. That way you're at least doubling your money minimum. Any more than 10 cents, not 20 cents, 10 cents. You gotta be strict. If I was stricter on this, my losses would have been a lot better. If I was stricter on the 17th, my losses would have been less. If I was stricter on the other days prior to May and April, I would likely would have been profited sooner. But hey, it happens. This is the game, and you just got to be prepared. It's just being conditioned. You're going to get flushed. One of these days, it's going to happen. Then you will get flushed, and you have to just sell immediately because, it can just go even lower, and you're going to be mad that you can get out sooner, and it'll happen. But whatever. I just have my stress bear, so I'm chilling. Not even worried. It is what it is. Glass is half full. I did my part. We're not going to get sloppy tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Monday, last day of June. We're going to get back into this. So, and if not, no, not if not, we will get back into this. So we'll be good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, and yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Hopefully there's enough volatility tomorrow. If not, we're gonna be patient. All right, peace.